When we return to our planet, the High Court may well sentence you to torture.
He likes movies, we like movies. SeptumSin versus the world. SeptumSin versus the world. SeptumSin versus the world. SeptumSin versus the world.
I'd buy that for $1.
Greetings. You're watching SeptumSin vs. the World. I'm SeptumSin, and I'm here with Kotobuki Jake.
Right?
And we're sitting here praying to the gods of right stuff in order to try and keep anything we want off of their sale for the summer. We need to save for the winter. I figure we can start on that happy note.
Well, thus far, I have not given in to the right stuff purchasing, but it's a matter of time and money. But they had running their 31st birthday sale at the same time that Criterion is running their July sale, at the same time that Sentai is running a July sale. You people, stop colluding to make us all broke and depressed.
Well,
But we do get highs from all the cool stuff
yeah.
we get.
There are a couple of, there's not a lot of super deals, but there are a couple good NIS deals and a couple of Nozomi deals
There's
that are
some
decent.
There's some really good Nozomi deals.
This week they had that one, gosh, what was it? One of the older, I think the oldest NIS one. Gosh, what was that one?
Well, the oldest one's Toradora. That was their flagship one.
Okay, the one after that. It's one of the other ones that they've had out of the premium forever.
They didn't have a premium up, did they?
No, actually they have one premium, which was that Princess and the Pilot double set.
No, they've got a couple premium sets up. I was meaning you're not like looking for a premium there.
No.
The older ones. Well, there was Magnaria, Pandora Hearts.
Pandora Hearts, that's it. They've got those up for a pretty cheap price.
What price?
I think it's 20-something per
For
volume.
both? Oh.
No.
If it's late for both, I'm doing it.
Because those things gotta be out of print. Well, they're all out of print, but
I gotta say though, I tried reading the Pandora Hearts manga and I can't get into it. I'm like 9 volumes in. I keep forgetting how far I am because it's taking me like so long between each volume.
And for those of you that care, Prime Day is priming up. It should be starting next week. But I don't know. I rarely got a lot out of Prime Day. So
I'm ignoring it.
Yeah, that's probably the best thing. It's easy to ignore because it takes so long to comb through that.
And you probably have to be a Prime member, which makes it very easy for me to ignore that. No.
So let's go ahead and we are going to be doing a this coming week. There is actually today, because this will be the day we've got this up, is Tuesday, Movies Galore. We're doing the movie L'Inferno, which was released in 1911. One of the oldest feature-length films, maybe the oldest. Do you think?
Of course, the original did not have Tangerine Dream doing the music, but
they lost the original score a long time ago.
No, it is. What were you saying?
I think it is. Isn't it the oldest? I think it is the oldest feature-length film.
I think so. It's not a long feature by any means.
Yeah, but it's the 45 minutes plus of a feature length.
Yeah. It is considered a feature film, and I think you're right. I think it's the oldest. It predates the first American feature by, 5 years?
Yeah, Birth of a Nation was 1915. And this one was better than Birth of a Nation.
America.
Well, of course, I haven't watched Birth of a Nation, but
I've seen most of it.
I don't feel dirty.
Yeah, L'Inferno is an adaptation of Dante's epic poem, and this actually is an Italian film, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so that'll be by far the oldest Italian film I have seen, and probably the oldest. Actually, the Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, was that Italian, or am I?
Believe it or not, it made $2 million box office back in those days.
Inferno? Before or after inflation?
That's before.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
Imagine
impressive.
after
Yeah.
inflation.
But, you know, I
Yeah.
mean, look at what you've got. I mean,
Yeah.
what did you have before? The Great Train Robbery and things like that from the Edison Laboratory?
Right.
But
Yeah.
wonderful effects. I mean, to me, special effects like nobody would have seen before. Very good. In any case, we're going to move on. We're going to start with the dour news. I do have the deaths. I'm not going to run the tape just yet. We got a few that we need. That one that I missed because I try and gather the information on Sunday, and a lot of the stuff gets through the cracks. I'm going to start with the one that was on the 29th, which was Steve Ditko. Many people are very familiar with his counterpart, Stan Lee, but very few really can pay homage to somebody else who was a cornerstone of modern comics as we know them, or superhero comics. A co-creator of Spider-Man, creator of Doctor Strange, and of course one of your favorites, Squirrel Girl. Probably the greatest creation.
The
he
most
made.
important of all. Who was that spider dude you were talking about?
Yeah, there's somebody that does no consequence.
But no, seriously, Ditko. He and it wasn't just Marvel, although he is widely associated with particularly Strange and Spider-Man.
Yeah.
He did create several characters for DC, including Blue Beetle, who's a pretty big character. Hawk and Dove, a little less well known. And he also did several characters for a lesser-known imprint that are widely considered to have been the forerunners of the Watchmen, apparently. So, obviously, Alan Moore takes the credit for that, but comics build on others, and, you know, a lot of times you get characters who are forerunners for others. You get ones that are blatant ripoffs, but you also get ones that where they actually build on a thing. And I'm not going to go into specifics in case the two people that ever watch this that have not seen Infinity War would be spoiled, but the fact that Ditko, the characters that he is known for, it definitely adds a certain poignancy to at least one part of Infinity War. But at any rate, so that was a big thing. If you're at all into geek nerd culture, that is a major passing.
Well, let's look at the others that I missed.
We've had a few this week. The big one that caught there have been a few interesting ones, but a couple that caught my interest, or caught my attention. Richard Swift, a music producer, sometime musician as well.
I did catch him, though.
Yeah.
Just the ones that we had, because we'll show the films of those people.
Yeah, but I want to talk about them.
Well, yeah, after the...
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm not sure where you're going with.
Well,
with
like
that.
you know, when we throw the DVDs up, we talk about
okay.
the highlights afterwards.
Okay. Yeah.
Unless I did miss him. I mean, I might have missed him.
No, go for it. Go for it. If you want to comment, I didn't have much to. Showa, that's what it was. The film. Okay, one of the people he missed is Claude Lanzmann. We were trying to remember exactly why I put him on the list. He was a documentarian, and he did a film called Showa, which is like 600 minutes long. But there's a Criterion release for it, and it's supposedly one of the documentaries to see.
Okay.
So that was why he was on the list. Francois Baudet was sort of a multi-hyphenate French writer, singer, what have you. Jim Malloy, I wrote down because he was a technician who they mentioned Elvis. What was it? Elvis, Johnny Cash, and it was a very strange trifecta, or a very interesting and impressive trifecta. Let's put it that way.
And this was all on the 5th.
Yeah, those three were the 5th of the month. Yes. And then today the announcement came out that actor Tab Hunter had passed away at 86. He was a pretty big name as an actor. Kind of got drummed out of Hollywood because of rumors. And then eventually he came out and admitted, yeah, I'm gay, and became kind of a spokesperson for the cause, I guess you could say. Yeah. So yeah. And most of these people had gotten some age to them. Claude Lanzmann was 92. Hunter was 86, Malloy's 87, Baudet was 78. So, it's a pretty good life, and live a while. So I'm going to step back and let you take the reins here because I obviously misheard what you were doing.
So this is everybody else.
She was living on couches that belonged to her friends. She would sleep with her feet in her shins hanging over the ends, looking over her shoulder, never knowing herself. I claim she could never fit in till somebody new came along. They were singing at weddings where the money was good, taking turns singing hits for the pairs or the single girls stood. Never want to get lucky, never making a play. By the words you can learn on the lines, but they never stay too long. Stay too long. One day you're gonna meet that someone. They're gonna turn your whole world around, upside down. Watch out, they're gonna be a better how. They're gonna see it's all one big lie, one big lie. Speaking from a wedding where he made the wrong move, took a pass at the bride who he thought was.
Okay, now that you've gotten to see them, you can go back ahead to the ones that you felt needed.
okay.
I've only got one that I have on the 5th, but let's start with the 4th for those that you felt
Okay.
like what we saw in this reel.
Start with the 4th.
Yeah, well, that's the earliest you've got.
No, I got the
oh,
third.
third? Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't see it.
Swift was the 3rd. And he was also the young'un of the people that I mentioned. He was only 41. But he was... The reason I had to mention him is he worked with some groups I'm a big fan of. I like the Shins, and I'm a big fan of the Black Keys. And,
Okay.
that's some pretty good talent there that he worked with. And then the next day, the 4th, we had Robbie Mueller, who was a cinematographer, I believe it was. And I saw the credits again. I was fascinated by the credits that were listed. But Dancer in the Dark was a visually gorgeous film. Oh my god, it was a gorgeous film.
Oh, when I saw that, I had to have him
Yeah,
up there.
so
I
that
think it
was...
them.
Yep.
But the 5th, there was one that I got that I thought was particularly poignant. Ed Schultz, who, if anybody is into political talk radio, free speech TV, these projects, this was a man, he did come from the left, but he was a man who was in the old school values of the left, the sort of union, lunch pail type person. He was he always talked about unions and things like that. Now, I try to steer somewhat clear of politics, but it is, having him pass is, for many on that side of the spectrum, would be like having somebody like Rush Limbaugh pass on the right. And though he did kind of go to the other side towards the end, being a somewhat Trump supporter at the end, though it's kind of odd that he became a Trump supporter after switching to Russia TV. But otherwise, the man fought for what he believed in. He did what he felt was right, and he was a voice, alternative voice for many, for the longest time. So it is worth mentioning somebody. As I said, even when Russia eventually goes himself, I will be mentioning him here because, again, great things. don't necessarily have to be good things, but they are great things, much the same.
Terrible thing, but great.
Yep. So you had
How sad that I know Rush better by name than the other guy, though. So what were you saying?
Did you have another one on there?
Those were really the main ones. Who was... I mentioned him for some reason. That's kind of sad.
Well, what he was known for was flashing up across the screen, so you'll know that. We're talking about Alan Johnson.
Yeah, I will be honest. I kind of compiled my notes at the very tail end of work today, and it was a madhouse, so I threw it together. But, but as we've said before, we like to at least try to acknowledge people who, but we try to keep the list to a manageable level at the same time.
It's a nice sized list, but we just want to hit the highlights when we get to where we're discussing them.
Okay.
So, any case, why don't we take a better trip, a nicer trip, to the movies?
Yes.
Have some interesting ones this week.
Yeah.
I mean, top of the line is, of course, Skyscraper, the greatest film of all time, is coming out
for
this
all
weekend.
you rock fans out there. He is obviously going for his Oscar.
I wonder if this is sort of like a Towering Inferno.
That's what I
thing.
thought. I think this looks like it could be a twist on, or an attempt to remake Towering Inferno without calling it Towering Inferno.
Yeah.
That's my guess. My apologies if anyone involved with the film watches this and takes offense at that. But for those of you who are tired of all these good movies that are coming out, it looks like it would be a good movie for you.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of the good movies coming out, I was just listening to something on NPR for one that I'm actually looking forward to. Lakeith Stanfield, I believe is his name, who was in Get Out and some other... he stars on Atlanta, which is a show I need to see.
Yeah, very well.
And his co-star in Atlanta, Donald Glover, is apparently in the film too. But there's a film called called Sorry to Bother You, and it's about telemarketers. And it's apparently really good. It looks like it could be really good.
Yeah, I've seen the adverts for that. It does look fun. Where the guy manages to do the voice.
Yes.
And everybody's favorite, Hotel Transylvania, makes its comeback with the third installment. I actually have to say, it's probably one of the most benign things I have seen Adam Sandler do as a series. It works.
He hams it up to the nth degree as Drac, and he's really not that great. The people in the rest of the cast act circles around him. Of course, the second one had Mel Brooks in it, so it was awesome.
So does the third one.
Does it?
Yes.
Okay, cool. But I mean, even as his daughter Mavis, even Selena Gomez does a fine job in the series. But I have not seen the third one. I can't speak for it until I've seen it. It does also have Kevin James in it, after all. But I have to admit, the first two are proof positive that not everything Adam Sandler touches turns to crap. Because they're actually really good movies. They're not brilliant, but like you said, benign.
Yeah.
You know, they're a lot of fun.
And
Yeah.
and like I said, this is not the best animated feature.
Yeah.
But well, it might be. But
You never know.
yeah.
You never
But
know.
I just I feel like
It'll be fun.
out of watching it,
Yeah.
it's something I can say Adam Sandler did that's child friendly. That's not terrible.
Mm-hmm. And I probably won't be rushing out to see it anytime soon. I still have to make it to the new Sicario film, and there might and Won't You Be My Neighbor. Those are my next two priorities for theaters. But those two are both on my maybe list. If I do get the movie pass,
Yeah.
I'll consider that. Yeah,
Ant-Man and the Wasp is still on my priority list.
good movie.
I just gotta see it when it's not an opening weekend.
Yeah.
Of course, then again, I work all weekend this weekend.
Yeah,
So.
your wife would have hated it because we did have a little kid right next to us in the theater.
Yeah.
Oh. Don't take your little kids to these Marvel movies. Even the Ant-Man movies, let them get 9 or 10 before you take them. You know, this I don't know. The kid was probably 5.
Well, if you went to Bowtie, it probably would have been worse. You'd have teenagers.
Well, I was at the bow tie.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah. No, I wasn't. Sorry.
You intended to do
I
it.
intended to do. Yeah, I got confused.
Well,
Okay.
and with that, let's get out of the theaters and into our element, DVDs and
Yes.
Blu-rays and
To the
4Ks.
movie that we wanted to go to the theater and didn't make it to the theater.
So take a look right now.
And obviously, I was meaning I feel pretty.
Yes, exactly. That one has got to be the highest on my list. I've already purchased 10 copies.
Well, it looks like it could be decent, but no. We were actually talking about Wes Anderson's Isle of Dogs,
which I have purchased
this
a copy of.
Does look like a really good movie. I really intended to go see it, and it just didn't materialize.
You got to think to yourself, though, with a Wes
Yeah.
Anderson film, do you want to get it when it releases, or do you want to wait till the inevitable Criterion release?
Yes, this is true.
And
if you are not that concerned about the Criterion release, you could actually this week not only get Isle of Dogs, you could alternately, if you don't already have it, get a 2-pack of Isle of Dogs and Fantastic Mr. Fox. I have seen Fantastic Mr. Fox, and it's a great film. It really
I expect
is.
Isle of Dogs to be just as excellent.
If you have seen a Wes Anderson film, you know what to expect from a Wes Anderson film. They're all different. They all have their own idiosyncratic quirks, but they are all clearly, definitively a Wes Anderson film.
And they all eventually make their way to Criterion.
And if you like his films, you will like this movie. If you don't, you may not. I don't know.
Which ones haven't made it to Criterion? I think the hotel one didn't. I don't think.
I don't know that I don't think Grand Budapest Hotel
Yeah, I
has a
don't think
release
that has.
yet.
So
it needs to get one.
yeah, you would have
And
thought
did
it's
Moonrise
overdue.
Kingdom get one?
I think Moonrise did get one.
They went through a phase where all of his films went straight to Criterion, and that was stupid. But they all should go there eventually. And then we also, speaking of
Might
Criterion,
as well with Criterion.
yes, another famously artsy director. But whereas with a Wes Anderson film, you know what you're going to get. With a Steven Soderbergh film, you don't have a freaking clue what you're going to get because he is all over the map. He does whatever he wants to do, and it seems like he doesn't care if it'll be... He has his commercial hat, and he has his I don't care if only my mother watches it hat. Oh, they did do it. Okay, Moonrise Kingdom was great.
Yeah.
But anyway, so... The first film Soderbergh ever put out is fine. Well, first feature film at least. I think he had some shorts. Is finally getting a Criterion treatment. Sex, Lies, and Videotape is finally getting a Criterion. I believe that was James Spader, Laura San Giacomo, right? Mm-hmm. And was it Was it?
I haven't seen the film, so
It's four cast. Peter Gallagher. And there are
definitely
four
has a
main
pedigree.
cast members. It's a very good film. It's it's very artsy. It's a little tedious. I have never loved it, but it's not as tedious as the so-called sequel in spirit he did, Full Frontal. Although that had a couple good moments, but Sex, Lies, and Videotape is overdue for Criterion release. It's the kind of film that screams Criterion. Yeah. I will probably want to I have it on DVD. I'll want to convert it one of these days, but it's hardly going to be a top priority. But if you don't have it yet, this is definitely the way to get it. Yeah. And then we have a film called Disobedience. I don't remember much about it other than it deals with a frowned upon romantic attraction in a fairly rigid community.
yeah.
And I was interested enough to put a hold on it through the library. That one and Isle of Dogs, I am waiting in line for those. And then Super Troopers 2. Broken Lizard's new... Kickstarted, yeah. And Super Troopers is widely considered a comedy classic. I have not seen it yet. The only one I've seen from these people is Club Dread, which did have its good moments.
That the Timmy Buffett
That
guy
Pina
was
Colada
in.
bird. And I really do want to see Super Troopers 2. It got really good. It got good reviews from what I recall. And apparently it made much more money than the first one did.
Well, they're coming out with a 2-pack eventually as well.
And I may wait for the 2-pack, but that would be worth picking up.
See, I have the original one. I just haven't seen it.
Slacker.
Yeah.
But then I haven't even gotten it, let alone watched it. And then I did want to put a warning on the list. There's a movie coming out called Traffic. If I'm not mistaken, it's spelled the same way as the all-British miniseries that the movie was... Speaking of Soderbergh,
Yeah.
the movie that Soderbergh made, it's not the same. So, just in case you're wondering.
Still looking this one up.
He doesn't believe that it's Traffic with a K.
Series. I still gotta spell some miniseries right. But
Well, that would help, yeah.
okay, so it is it
Yeah.
is spelled Traffic like
So
that.
the old BBC.
But it's also, this one's also 2018, so I should
Yeah.
hope that you wouldn't mix them up.
Well, you could think that was the cover art copyright date. Yeah, whatever. But anyway,
Yeah.
so
That's
do you have any entertainment news for the week?
nothing that I came up with. You got something?
I got a couple little ones. One being that Right Stuff did post a listing for the K-On set. Did you see that?
Ah,
Did you
when
see
does
how
that?
flippin' expensive it's going to be?
How much are they asking?
Their retail price is like $290, but so their sale price is like $180 or something. Which I'm going to be straight up. I'm going to wait till Sentai puts it on sale for less than $70. But that's only because I already own the whole series.
Yeah.
If you don't own it, this set looks flippin' awesome.
Actually,
and there is a lot there. There is a lot
Yeah.
there. So if you don't own K-On!, this is the way to get it.
You
And,
might get it on their site too, because
Yeah.
usually Sentai is
Sentai-
cheaper than the Right Stuff.
Right
is.
now, Right Stuff is putting a lot of Sentai stuff on sale
Yeah,
at
just pull it off.
slightly better than usual prices. Sentai's sale is legitimately awesome. And when Sentai's running a sale, Right Stuff almost always lets them have the better price.
Yeah.
So that it may be a contractual thing, or they may just be doing it that way.
Yeah, well,
And then-
I'll look it up on their site.
And then the next thing I want to mention is everybody's favorite prankster, Sacha Baron Cohen, has officially announced his new show, Who is America, in which he will be going back to his roots. It's a limited edition show where, I think 7 episodes, where back in the days where he introduced the world to Ali G and Borat and Bruno, he will apparently be creating another such persona and interviewing people to find out who is America. So I do want to see this series. I'm interested in this.
Even Bruno, as much as I disliked it, did have its moments.
Yes, it did. But by the time that came out, everyone was in on the joke. My question is, will he able to be pulling it off? And my hope is, so far there's been very little press about the show.
Yeah.
And he probably did that on purpose. And he is a pretty talented actor. One of the impressive things about Borat and Bruno is that he really doesn't break character no matter what situation he's in. And that takes skill. So maybe he did come up with something believable that, So we'll find out eventually. But, yeah.
The only thing left on this is, of course, site news. I did finally get my Doki Doki School Hours stuff posted, and that will be Thursday, I believe, that will be up. So for those of you who do like the reviews, and there are actually a number of people who like the reviews, I'll be doing an anime review, and that will be Thursday. So we will see you in the pickups. Take care.
Goodbye.